Thank you, Carrie. Would everyone please be seated? Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce to you Daniel O. Bernstein, the President of Portland State University. President Bernstein is completing his first year at Portland State, and as the culmination of that year, he is participating in his first Portland State University commencement this morning. President Bernstein most recently was Dean of the Law School at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and has had a distinguished career in both academics and administration. Please welcome President Dan Bernstein.
Thank you. Good morning. Greetings to all of you assembled here for this graduation ceremony. We welcome President Clinton and our honored guests to Oregon's Urban University, a place where high academic achievement, community service, and research make a difference for the nation, for Oregon, and for our community. On behalf of the entire university community, I congratulate all of those who are graduating today, and I welcome your family and your friends. Thank you.
It's traditional at the commencement ceremony to have a series of official greetings. These begin with a greeting from the representation of the Oregon University System Board. We're very pleased this morning to have 4 representatives of the Oregon University System Board of Higher Education with us today. They are Tom Imeson, John Wyckoff, Diane Christopher, and Esther Puentes. Mr. Imeson will bring the board's greetings.
Thank you. It's a terrific honor to be able to participate in this special ceremony today. Members of the Oregon State Board of Higher Education traditionally attend commencement ceremonies at each of the universities in our state's higher education system to send greetings from the board to the graduates. And it is one of the more rewarding things that we get to do as board members, to see the tangible results of students achieving the significant milestone of earning their diplomas. Several months ago, when given the opportunity to select the commencement I would attend, I requested Portland State University. But I have to be honest with you about my motivation. It was the simple reason that my sister, Meg Bradshaw, is one of this year's graduates. Some 20 years later than her original plan, and now with a husband and 3 children, she has worked hard to get to this moment, and I wanted to be here to share it with her and with our family. But far more important than why I selected Portland State University are the reasons that Meg picked it, and I am sure why so many of you made the same choice. Portland State has worked hard to provide an education in a manner which is uncommonly flexible to meet the needs of a diverse student population that ranges from traditional full-time students to those who have additional family and job responsibilities. And it has been meeting those needs in ways that are anything but traditional, but also with an enduring commitment to quality and to this urban community. That commitment is paying off. Portland State University has received national recognition, including a grant from the Pew Charitable Trust for its innovative efforts in undergraduate education. In our community, Portland State will soon begin construction of its urban center, which will serve as the heart of a vital new university district that will ultimately serve literally, symbolically, and visibly as the southern gateway to Portland's downtown. It will also serve as the gateway to educational opportunities to citizens throughout Oregon through a new distance learning center. And look at who this university has been able to attract. Of course, students of quality, like John Wyckoff, who also serves as a member of our Board of Higher Education. Our new president, Dan Bernstein, a strong, effective catalyst for change and a tireless advocate of higher education. Excellent faculty, now including Senator Mark Hatfield, who I have to say is the best teacher of government and politics I ever had, although I should explain at the time he was a United States Senator rather than a practicing professor, and I was not a student receiving academic credit, but a lowly member of his staff. And of course, what can be said other than bravo to this university for attracting our nation's most sought-after commencement speaker. All of Oregon's institutions of higher education, all of us are honored to have this advocate of higher education participate in this ceremony today at Portland State University. Finally, and most importantly, congratulations to the graduates and their families in this moment of completion and of promise. I have just one request of you. I know that this education, while incredibly valuable to you and to our state, cost you, as students, too much. I am convinced that it is worth every penny, but I also know that a larger portion must be paid by the society that gains so much from a well-educated populace. We have shifted the burden too much to the students instead of recognizing that as an economy, we will only be as competitive as our people, and that as a society, we will only be as civil, safe, and secure as our citizens are humanely educated. So my request is that you join with us in making a case for higher education in Oregon, for your sisters and your brothers, and ultimately for our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Imerson. Next, we'd hear from the Alumni Association. Representing the Portland State Alumni Association this morning is Susan Bricky Pupura. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree in 1997. Susan has had a distinguished career in the healthcare field. She believes strongly in both community and university service, serving as president of the Oregon Donor Program and as past president of the University Alumni Association. She is an advocate of lifelong learning and has just herself completed a multimedia program at Portland State University. Susan?
With great pleasure, I welcome today's graduates to the powerful and proud Alumni Association of Portland State University. Yes, powerful and proud. Consider the power of having 80,000 alumni with which to establish public policy, build business, create art, develop technology, and cheer PSU athletic teams. Network with these alumni with pride and use this powerful base to create your future. The Alumni Association promotes the university by telling the PSU story, our stories. It holds regularly scheduled events from PSU Weekend in the fall to PSU Salutes in the spring. It supports the PSU advocates. It supports financial support for student activities. In honor of President Clinton and our other honored guests today, I will name just a few of the public service leadership positions held by PSU alumni. Alumni are represented on the Multnomah County Commission, as head of the Children's Services Division, as Executive Director of the Portland Housing Authority, as Superintendent of the Lake Oswego Public School District. 8 alumni served in the last session of the Oregon Legislature and included the Majority Leader of the House and the President of the Senate. You are encouraged to be active members of the Alumni Association. As you can see by the honor I have today of sharing the podium with 2 outstanding presidents, staff, and deans and faculty of Portland State University, it has unanticipated rewards. Congratulations, graduates, and best wishes.
Thank you, Susan. It is always customary to have the graduating class represented by 2 of its own members to address that class. This morning, first addressing the class of 1998 is Theo Hall III, who is graduating with a degree in the Administration of Justice in the Hatfield School of Government. He is the Student Government Vice Executive Chair. He is a member and organizer of the Black Cultural Affairs Board, has played football for the Portland State Vikings, and is someone who has completed his education at Portland State while balancing the challenges of work and his commitment to his wife and 2 children. Theo?
Thank you for those kind words. Well, we did it. What's up? We did it. Come on now. All right. Okay. We're ready to take on life challenges. I would like to put out my hand of encouragement to everyone here to be a team player, whether it be a member in the PTA or being a volunteer or getting involved in making Portland State Alumni Association stronger. We are the major urban university here in Oregon, and we should be proud to receive our degree from Portland State University. By accomplishing this goal, we are unique and naturally accepted as leaders. When our national community leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson, came to campus last year, he told the audience that I am somebody. I'm here to say that we are somebody. We are members of the colorful rainbow of black, white, red, brown, and yellow. We are student leaders, and we are more than just Portland State students here. We're students of life. Get the kids, go to class, cook dinner, I am a husband. Rent is due, food, diapers, and tuition, I'm a working father. We came together to fight for a tuition freeze. We came together on which professor to take. Midterms, finals, long financial aid lines. No place to park? Oh no, a ticket. I'm a student. We had some ups, we had some downs. The big move from Division II to the great potentials in the big sky. We have seen the rebirth of basketball. We have seen the first $1 million donation for athletics. I am an athlete. Come learn about our different cultures, BCAB, Black History Month, Soul Fest, Yushi, them salmon bakes and powwows. La Raza with their festive and colorful celebrations. I am a student organization member. We fought for equal rights and diversity on campus, and we have fought for childcare. We have fought for student issues, and we have began to fight for higher wages for our professors. I am a student leader, and I am a member of that colorful rainbow of black, white, red, brown, and yellow. We represent the heart and soul of the students here at Portland State University. And if we don't take responsibility and set goals for getting involved in the community, we'll soon find out that we make things happen instead of watch things happen. Here at Portland State University, we set goals, we struggled, we overcame hurdles, and we succeeded. We are Portland State University, and we are somebody. Thank you.
Thank you, Theo. Jane Rongerud, a student graduating with honors in environmental science, has pursued a program which bridges her strong interest in science and in influencing social change. She will continue this fall to pursue graduate work at the University of California at Berkeley. Jane?
Thank you. Graduates of Portland State University, today is your day. Let us celebrate what we have achieved and recognize that none of us has reached this moment on our own. Ours is a student body as varied and dynamic as the city of Portland itself. We are graduating from an urban university that offers a unique educational opportunity, a school where values such as community and service are joined with scholarship. As a result, we leave here today with an education, yes, but also the skills to continue to learn, the ability to set ethical standards for ourselves, and the desire to live as responsible participants in our communities. In an essay titled "The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action," poet Audre Lorde wrote, "In becoming forcibly and essentially aware of my mortality and of what I wished and wanted for my life, however short it might be, priorities and omissions became strongly etched in a merciless light, and what I most regretted were my silences. Of what had I ever been afraid?" Graduates, we must speak. We must put into action those beliefs and ideals which define each of us. I have chosen to take a graduation pledge which states, "I pledge to investigate and take into account the social and environmental consequences of any job opportunity I consider." I ask each of you, what is your pledge? Before you leave here today, look into your heart. Find what you hold most dear. Make a commitment to live a life that reflects what you value and what you have learned. Portland State has given each of us a foundation. How we choose to build on that foundation remains in our hands. The time to begin is now. We leave here today as people transformed, but we take Portland State with us as community members and family members, leaders and participants, and always, always as learners.
Thank you, Jane. While we are primarily here today to celebrate the accomplishments of the students of Portland State, commencement would not be possible if it were not for the dedication, commitment, and extraordinary efforts of the faculty. So that we may recognize the contributions, I would like the faculty who are here today to please stand and ask the students to join us in saluting the faculty at Portland State University. It's traditional at our commencement ceremony that we have special recognition for faculty members who have been selected by their peers for outstanding contributions. I'd like to start first with, however, an acknowledgement not of someone who is listed in the program, but one of our deans who is retiring as dean this year, Robert Everhart, who has served the School of Education with commitment and leadership for the last 12 years, and in fact, also with commitment and leadership to the university. Robert Everhart, would you please stand for a moment so we can acknowledge your contributions? Thank you. Our first award, the Branford Price Millar Award. Stephen Brenner, professor in the School of Business Administration, is this year's recipient of the Branford Price Millar Award for Faculty Excellence. This award recognizes faculty members who demonstrate excellence in instruction, scholarship, university service, and public service. I'll ask Dr. Brenner to join myself and President Bernstein while I read the citation that accompanies the award. In his 27 years at Portland State University, Professor Stephen N. Brenner has worked on behalf of our community, bringing both a superb grasp of theory and a tough-minded, pragmatic realism to his classes. He demands excellence of his students as he has demanded it of himself. Yet this passion for excellence has always been balanced with a well-attested civility and concern for each individual member of his classes. Professor Brenner's civility and concern have been demonstrated repeatedly for the well-being of the university and in the many roles he has played as presiding officer of the Faculty Senate, chair of the Budget Committee, chair of the Intercollegiate Athletic Board. It has been well said that Professor Brenner epitomizes the concerned and dedicated scholar whose talents, energy, good humor, and personal integrity form a critical resource for the university and the city. Please congratulate with me Professor Brenner. The second of our awards is the George Hoffman Award. Michael Cummings, professor in the Department of Geology, is this year's recipient of the George Hoffman Award for Faculty Excellence, an award named for the longtime dean of the College of Social Science at Portland State. This award recognizes faculty members who best serve the university in areas of instruction, university service, and scholarship. Dr. Cummings will join President Bernstein while I read the citation. Professor Cummings epitomizes those qualities held dear by George Hoffman: collegiality, dedication to students, and distinguished service to the university in instruction and scholarship. For nearly 20 years, Professor Cummings has been one of the university's most outstanding teachers. As one of our master teachers, he inspires students and colleagues to connect theory to experience. His courses connect Northwest geology to literature and the history of minerals to world affairs. His summer field in Southeast Institute in Southeastern Oregon is nationally recognized. His commitment to student success through advising is a model to the university. As one of the quiet leaders on campus, we do well to honor him today. Congratulations, Professor Cummings.
We are pleased this morning to present Robert G. Miller, President and CEO of Fred Meyer Incorporated, with an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. Bob, please join me at the podium.
Since arriving in Oregon as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Fred Meyer Incorporated in 1991, Robert G. Miller has made significant contributions to Portland State, the state of Oregon, and all of the communities in which his company does business. He has been a strong advocate for the business school's food industry management program. He was instrumental in creating the program in 1993 and helping it develop into a nationally recognized center of excellence. Served in the program's executive committee since its inception, spoken at a number of its events, helped to attract executives from national companies, and participated actively in all of the program's fundraising efforts. Without his support, the program would not be endowed and would not be on its way to achieving national acclaim for its innovative approach of working with food processors, manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers. Mr. Miller has contributed greatly to the economy of the state of Oregon and beyond. At a time when many companies are being acquired and their corporate headquarters relocated, Mr. Miller has built one of the strongest companies headquartered in Oregon and one of the preeminent retailers in the country. During the past year, he has catapulted Fred Meyer Incorporated from 11th to the 4th largest supermarket company in the United States, with more than 800 stores and 88,000 employees in 14 states. He has been active in the community and in a number of different capacities. As a member of the board of directors of Pacific Corp, recently served as chairman of the United Way. Honoring Robert Miller for his leadership and commitment to excellence underscores the importance to Portland State University of working in partnership with industry to create a better Oregon for our students, their families, their employers, and all of the residents of the state. Congratulations to Mr. Miller.
Under the laws of the state of Oregon and the authority vested in me by the State Board of Higher Education of Oregon, it's my pleasure to present Robert G. Miller with the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters. Dr. Bob, congratulations.
Thank you. It's a great honor to receive this doctorate degree from Portland State. When I went straight into the food retail business right out of high school, I had no idea that I could receive an honor like this someday on the same stage as the President of the United States. Thank you. Fred Meyer and Portland State share common roots. Mr. Meyer started our company 77 years ago in downtown Portland, and 25 years later, Portland State was formed. Since then, we've been neighbors and worked together for over 52 years. Not only is this degree an honor for me, it's also an honor that goes to the Food Industry Leadership Center, and it honors the industry that I love and has been part of my life. I owe my good fortune to the retail food industry, and I believe strongly in giving back to that industry that has given me so much. That's why I was so excited when I was approached 5 years ago about helping develop a new food industry program at Portland State University. Even though the food industry employs more people and generates more revenue than any other industry in the region, no university in the Pacific Northwest had a program to help meet the industry's leadership needs. I signed on then and have been committed ever since. I'm particularly proud to be part of a new chapter in Fred Meyer's partnership with Portland State University. Yesterday, the university launched a $4 million endowment fund campaign for the Food Industry Leadership Center to endow the Fred G. Meyer Leadership Chair and the Robert G. Miller Scholarship Fund. I was proud to see my company and many Fred Meyer executives join with me to help launch the campaign with donations totaling $1 million. In addition, other companies and food industry leaders stepped up with donations of $200,000, giving the campaign a great start with $1.2 million on the first day. The Food Industry Leadership Center really exemplifies the vision of Portland State University, and we are proud to support that vision and work with the university. Thank you for this great honor and the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
We are pleased this morning to welcome President William J. Clinton and present him with an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. President Clinton, please join me at the podium.
President Clinton's public service career has been distinguished by his commitment to the expansion of educational opportunity for all citizens, his concern for developing and maintaining livable communities, and his firm and long-standing belief in the value of community service. President Clinton's commitment to education extends from early childhood through graduate school and opportunities for lifelong learning. National initiatives such as the Hope Scholarships, the tuition tax credits, the educational IRAs are opening the doors of higher education to thousands of students. The Hope Scholarships will assist 68,000 students in Oregon alone, while increased Pell Grants are helping more than 38,000, and more than 80,000 will benefit from the lifetime learning tax credits. Increased Head Start funding means that more than 5,000 Oregon preschoolers will be able to participate. President Clinton understands that safe and viable communities are essential to the future. Through the development of empowerment zones and enterprise communities, his administration has spurred redevelopment efforts in communities across the nation. In Oregon, Portland and Josephine County are creating new jobs, housing, and economic opportunity through these programs. Portland State University's plans for the development of the University District as a vibrant downtown neighborhood have been advanced through the participation and financial support of the Departments of Commerce, Transportation, and Housing and Urban Development. The President's belief in the value of community service is reflected both in his own life and in initiatives such as America Reads and AmeriCorps. More than 2,300 Oregon College students have participated in AmeriCorps, working in more than 200 different programs and earning towards their advanced education. Nationally, nearly 50,000 AmeriCorps members have contributed to their communities. It is for these commitments to education and public service that Portland State University is honored to award President William J. Clinton the degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Congratulations, President Clinton.
Under the laws of the state of Oregon and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Oregon State Board of Higher Education, I confer upon President William J. Clinton the degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Up until this moment, I've I guess been kidding myself that this record turnout of graduates and their families and faculty was all just for me. But reality's finally setting in. I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker. You have just heard a brief description of his commitment to education, both to educational access and equality, and his deep personal belief in the value and importance of community service. These also are the qualities reflected in our own university's mission. We are very pleased that he has decided to be with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, William J. Clinton.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the wonderful, warm welcome. President Bernstein, Provost Reverend, Senator Wyden, Representatives Blumenauer and Hooley, Treasurer Hill, General Myers, Superintendent Paulus, my good friend, your great former Senator Mark Hatfield. I'm delighted to see you here today, sir. Thank you. To the faculty, especially the faculty honorees today, State Board of Higher Education, the alumni, to the speakers, Theo Hall and Jane Rongerud, I thought they did a marvelous job on behalf of the students. Congratulations, Mr. Miller, and thank you for your contributions to Portland State. And let me say to all the members of the class of 1998, I thank you for allowing me to come here today. I congratulate you on your tremendous achievement. I know the roads that you have traveled here have not all been easy. Some of you have worked full-time and cared for your families, even while you carried a full course load. And I congratulate you on what you've done. What I want to say to you in the beginning is that you will see that it was worth it. In the world in which we live, there is a higher premium on education than ever before, not only because of what you know, but because of what you will be able to learn for the rest of your life. The education and the skills you take away from this campus will open doors for you forever. And I congratulate you on having the foresight as well as the determination to see this through. Portland State is a very interesting institution to me. First of all, we're the same age. Portland State was born in 1946 out of a demand generated by the GI Bill at the end of World War II. One of the most far-sighted things that was ever done to explode opportunity across America. The GI Bill helped to create the modern American middle class and the prosperity we enjoyed. It also helped to create a number of community-based institutions of higher education, which more and more now are beginning to look in their student bodies the way they did over 50 years ago. More than half the students here are over 25. More than a few of you are considerably over 25. Still, you all look quite young to me. As was said earlier, I have worked hard, and our administration has, to open the doors of college to everyone who would work for it, with the Hope Scholarship and permanent tax credits for all higher education, and more Pell Grants and better student loans than the AmeriCorps program and work-study programs. We have to create a country in which everyone at any age believes that they have access to continue their education for a lifetime. But I want to focus on this institution again as an institution of the future. You know, a couple of years ago, I came out here and we had a conference on the Pacific Rim and our relationship to the Asia-Pacific region that Portland State hosted. And I have to say that one of your most distinguished alumni was a particular friend of mine, the late Congressman Walter Capps from California, one of the finest people I ever knew, went to this school. And he was a person of the future in the Congress. His wife succeeded him. And we were talking just last evening before I came here about how grateful Congressman Capps always was to Portland State for giving him the ability to go out into the world and make a difference. What I want to talk to all of you about, particularly the graduates, is the America of your future. We all know that at the edge of a new century and a new millennium, America is changing at breathtaking speed. We know that most of these changes have been good. We're grateful as a nation to have the lowest unemployment rate in 28 years, the lowest crime rate in 25 years, the lowest welfare rolls in 29 years, the first balanced budget and surplus in 29 years, the highest home ownership in history. We feel gratitude. We know that none of us alone is responsible for these things, but all of us together have come to terms with the challenges of the modern world and its opportunities, and we're moving America in a good direction. But this spring, I have attempted to go out across the country and address graduates about the challenges this new era poses. Not only because even when there's a lot of good news out there, we should never forget that there are challenges, but perhaps even more importantly, because when times are good, it imposes upon Americans a special responsibility to take our confidence and our prosperity and look to the long-term challenges of the country, to address them in a forthright, constructive way so that our country will continue to grow and prosper. This spring, I have talked about three things. At the Naval Academy, I talked about defending our nation against the new security threats of the 21st century, including terrorism, biological and chemical weapons, and global environmental degradation. At MIT, not very long ago, I talked about the challenges of the information age and the importance of bringing those opportunities to all Americans, bringing the internet into every classroom, ensuring that every young student is computer literate. Today, maybe I should have given that speech here. Today, I want to talk to you about what may be the most important subject of all: how we can strengthen the bonds of our national community as we grow more racially and ethnically diverse. It was just a year ago tomorrow that I launched a national initiative on race, asking Americans to address the persistent problems and the limitless possibilities of our diversity. This effort is especially important right now because as we grow more diverse, our ability to deal with the challenges will determine whether we can really bind ourselves together as one America. And even more importantly, in the near term, and over the next few years perhaps as well, our ability to exercise world leadership for peace, for freedom, for prosperity. In a world that is both smaller and more closely connected, and yet increasingly gripped with tense, often bloody conflicts rooted in racial, ethnic, and religious divisions, our ability to lead that kind of world to a better place rests in no small measure on our ability to be a better place here in the United States that can be a model for the world. The driving force behind our increasing diversity is a new, large wave of immigration. It is changing the face of America. And while most of the changes are good, they do present challenges. which demand more both from new immigrants and from our citizens. Citizens share a responsibility to welcome new immigrants, to ensure that they strengthen our nation, to give them their chance at the brass ring. In turn, new immigrants have a responsibility to learn, to work, to contribute to America. If both citizens and immigrants do their part, we will grow ever stronger in the new global information economy. More than any other nation on earth, America has constantly drawn strength and spirit from wave after wave of immigrants. In each generation, they have proved to be the most restless, the most adventurous, the most innovative, the most industrious of people. Bearing different memories, honoring different heritages, they have strengthened our economy, enriched our culture, renewed our promise of freedom and opportunity for all. Of course, the path has not always run smooth. Some Americans have met each group of newcomers with suspicion and violence and discrimination. So great was the hatred of Irish immigrants 150 years ago that they were greeted with signs that read, "No dogs are Irish." So profound was the fear of Chinese in the 1880s that they were barred from entering the country. So deep was the distrust of immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe at the beginning of this century that they were forced to take literacy tests specifically designed to keep them out of America. Eventually, the guarantees of our Constitution and the better angels of our nature prevailed over ignorance and insecurity, over prejudice and fear. But now we are being tested again by a new wave of immigration larger than any in a century, far more diverse than any in our history. Each year, nearly 1 million people come legally to America. Today, nearly 1 in 10 people in America was born in another country. 1 in 5 school children are from immigrant families. Today, largely because of immigration, there is no majority race in Hawaii or Houston or New York City. Within 5 years, there will be no majority race in our largest state, California. In a little more than 50 years, there will be no majority race in the United States. No other nation in history has gone through demographic change of this magnitude in so short a time. What do the changes mean? They can either strengthen and unite us, or they can weaken and divide us. We must decide. Let me state my view unequivocally. I believe new immigrants are good for America. They are revitalizing our cities. They are building our new economy. They are strengthening our ties to the global economy, just as earlier waves of immigrants settled the new frontier and powered the Industrial Revolution. They are energizing our culture and broadening our vision of the world. They are renewing our most basic values and reminding us all of what it truly means to be an American. It means working hard like a teenager from Vietnam who does his homework as he watches the cash register at his family's grocery store. It means making a better life for your children, like a father from Russia who works 2 jobs and still finds time to take his daughter to the public library to practice her reading. It means dreaming big dreams, passing them on to your children. You have a lot of stories like that here at Portland State. Just this morning, I met one of your graduates, or 2 to be specific, Mago Gilson, an immigrant from Mexico who came here without a high school education. 12 years later, she is receiving her master's degree in education on her way to realizing her dream of becoming a teacher. She is joined in this graduating class by her son, Eddie, who had dreams of his own and worked full-time for 7 years to put himself through school. Today, he receives a bachelor's degree in business administration. And soon, there's more. Soon, her son, Oscar, whom I also met, will receive his own master's degree in education. I'd like to ask the Gilsons and their family members who are here to rise and be recognized. There she is. Give them a hand. In the Gilson family and countless like them, we see the spirit that built America, the drive to succeed, the commitment to family, to education, to work, the hope for a better life. In their stories, we see a reflection of our own parents' and grandparents' journey, a powerful reminder that our America is not so much a place as a promise, not a guarantee, but a chance. Not a particular race, but an embrace of our common humanity. Now, some Americans don't see it that way. When they hear new accents or see new faces, they feel unsettled. They worry that new immigrants come not to work hard, but to live off our largesse. They're afraid the America they know and love is becoming a foreign land. This reaction may be understandable, but it's wrong. It's especially wrong when anxiety and fear give rise to policies and ballot propositions to exclude immigrants from our civic life. I believe it's wrong to deny law-abiding immigrants benefits available to everyone else. Wrong to ignore them as people not worthy of being counted in the census. It's not only wrong, it's un-American. Now, let me be clear. I also think it's wrong to condone illegal immigration that flouts our laws, strains our tolerance, taxes our resources. Even a nation of immigrants must have rules and conditions and limits, and when they are disregarded, public support for immigration erodes in ways that are destructive to those who are newly arrived and those who are still waiting patiently to come. We must remember, however, that the vast majority of immigrants are here legally. In every measurable way, they give more to our society than they take. Consider this. On average, immigrants pay $1,800 more in taxes every year than they cost our system in benefits. Immigrants are paying into Social Security at record rates. Most of them are young, and they will help to balance the budget when we baby boomers retire and put strains on it. New immigrants also benefit the nation in ways not so easily measured, but very important. We should be honored that America, whether it's called the city on a hill, or the old gold mountain, or El Norte, is still seen around the world as a land of new beginnings. We should all be proud that people living in isolated villages in far corners of the world actually recognize the Statue of Liberty. We should rejoice that children the world over study our Declaration of Independence and embrace its creed. My fellow Americans, we descendants of those who passed through the portals of Ellis Island must not lock the door behind us. Americans whose parents were denied the rights of citizenship simply because of the color of their skin must not deny those rights to others because of the country of their birth or the nature of their faith. We should treat new immigrants as we would have wanted our own grandparents to be treated. We should share our country with them, not shun them or shut them out. But mark my words, unless we handle it, only that belief can keep us one America in the 21st century. So I say, as president, to all our immigrants, you are welcome here, but you must honor our laws, embrace our culture, learn our language. Of course, children learn at different rates, and of course children have individual needs, but that cannot be an excuse for making sure that when children come into our school system, we do whatever it takes. Good luck, and God bless you.